Welcome to the Musa and Medina YouTube channel, and today I'm going to answer some of your questions because I do get a lot of questions about living in Medina. So we're going to do that. And I'm also going to show you some restaurants in the western section of the masjid so you can plan your trip accordingly when you come. I didn't expect to see a knife-wielding store owner making a TikTok video, so that was actually pretty cool. So let's go, it's going to be fun. Yalla, Bismillah. So here we are, my dear brothers and sisters, at the blessed Masjid of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and we are at the northwest courtyard. We've just finished praying Asr. You can see it is extremely packed, mashallah, and it is the month of Rajab. Allahumma barik lana fi Rajab wa Sha'ban wa balighna Ramadan. So, like I said in the intro, we are going to answer some questions. We're going to take it easy, and I'm going to show you a new area where you can get some good food, some nice restaurants for a good price. I got questions often about where to eat and what I recommend. So I'll show you one place. I haven't been there actually, but I believe it's good, and I know the restaurants that are there, and the location is actually pretty good. So those of you who inshallah come to Masjid Nabawi and you are in the northwest area, all right, the northwest area near door 316, if you want to go to where I'm going to go right now, make sure you're over here. If you're living or if you're staying at a hotel in the north, in that direction, right, that's the north, or the east or the south, you might not want to come all the way over here unless you really like that store that I'm going to go. All right, because there are amenities, there are services, there are restaurants, there are cafes all around Masjid Nabawi. But this is for those people that are staying near the northwest area, near door 316, 317, 318, and anything close to it. All right, so let's go. Bismillah. And where I'm going to take you right now is actually a new area that they fixed recently, and it's actually under the overpass. So that's pretty cool. All right, so that's actually one of the first ones that I've seen in the city. When I was in Cairo for a bit, they had a lot of restaurants under bridges, but over here in Medina, this is the first one that I've seen personally that is actually near the Haram. And Ramadan is right around the corner, and there's going to be a lot of people looking for food, and I believe that's one of the reasons they've added those cafes and restaurants in that section, in the northwest section, to accommodate for those visitors, mashallah. All right, so you go to door 316 as we just did, and you walk straight. All right, and like I said as well, I'm going to be answering some of the questions that you guys had. And I get a lot of questions actually, mashallah. One of the most common questions that I get is, how does a person get to actually live in Saudi Arabia, or Medina specifically, because I'm here in Medina? And the answer to that question, my dear brothers and sisters, is the same way that you get to live anywhere else in the world in this time and age that we're living in. What I mean by that is, in the past, if you wanted to go live somewhere, honestly, all you had to do was get on a horse, a camel, find a caravan, find some people, and travel to where you wanted to go. We're not living in that time. We're living in an age where we have boundaries, we have borders, right? So we can't just do that. So how does a person live in Medina? One way is to just come and overstay your visitor's visa or your Umrah visa, but that's illegal. And if the police were to catch you, they would deport you, maybe even give you a fine. And that right there is Masjid Imam Ali. Just wanted to point that out. MashaAllah. We're in the Musalla area. I made a couple of videos about this area. Check them out, inshallah, on the YouTube channel. Alright, so I was saying that, yeah, you can stay illegally, but that's not, the feasible way. And most people cannot do that. But there are people that do that. And, you have security checkpoints, and you have, police always checking your pass, your iqama, your residency. So that's not the ideal method, and I'm not suggesting that, but I'm just pointing out, theoretically, that's what a person could do. But what is the legal way, the proper way to do it? One of the proper ways is to get a job, find a company in Saudi Arabia, and let them sponsor you. Let them bring you in, and then they will take care of your residency, and everything will be done by the books, everything proper, no issues. And when you do it like that, you could bring your family, or you can bring your wife, your husband. If the wife is the one that gets the job, you can bring your parents. Alright, so that's another way. The proper way is to get an actual sponsor. Alright, another way to do that, another way for a person to stay here, is for them to look at which country their citizenship is. And what I mean by that is, depending on where you are, which country you live in, what citizenship you have, depending on the diplomatic relations between Saudi Arabia and your home country, some countries have really good, lenient, ways for a person to stay. For example, in the UK, if you're from the UK, what can you do? You apply for the tourist visa, and they give you 6 months. All right, they give you 6 months, and then after the 6 months, you just have to leave and come back right away. There is no waiting period. Right? You can go to another country, apply for another 6 months, and then come right back into, Saudi Arabia. And there are some people that do that. Oops, so be careful. All right. And some other countries, for example, Canada, they give you 3 months or 90 days. But the issue with that is you can't just leave and come back every 3 months. So you have, 90 days, and then after those 90 days, you have to wait another year. You understand? So that, in this type of situation, you can't just go and come back and stay forever, live long term. And if you're in another country, for example, the United States, I believe they even have better options available for American citizens. I believe it's like a 10-year visa, honestly. Subhanallah. So some people that are from the States, if you have some type of income where you work online, you don't have to be physically present at your office, your job, you can work in Saudi Arabia, in Medina, in Mecca, wherever you want, and still reap the benefits of living here while working for your company. Or maybe you have a lot of savings. Right? There are some people who have a lot of savings, and they can, they want to retire, and they say, I want to plan it out that I live the rest of my life in Medina. So they can do that as well, right, if you have savings. And honestly, those are the ways that you can stay here or any other country, like I mentioned earlier. I'm trying to think, am I forgetting anything else? I don't think so. So check out what country you're from, and see the rules, the deadlines, and the limitations that you have. Maybe you don't have many limitations, maybe you do have a lot of limitations. But in all situations, there is something available. But like I said, the best way is to get a sponsor and get a job. Find someone, Saudi company, that's going to bring you in, and then bring your family as well. So that's one of the questions, how to live in Saudi. Another question is, how much does it cost? There are a couple questions about the the cost of living here. So for apartments, and I'll share a link. There's a website called Haraj where you can see what's available and you can get a glimpse of the prices that are there. Alright, so what I'm going to mention right now is generally the prices of the apartments over here. Alright, so they range from 24,000 riyals a year to maybe 33,000 riyals a year. And the way that it works usually in these countries, or it is how it is over here, is the homeowners, the landlords, they don't take monthly. So you gotta pay either quarterly, right? Every 3 months, or 6 months, all right, bi-yearly, or you pay annually. You pay the full amount at the beginning of of your stay in the apartment. And that was actually interesting, because where I am in Canada, you have the option. You pay the first month and last month rent, and that's it. And then you just pay monthly after that. But over here, that's not what they have. That's not the options. You might find something like that, but it's going to cost a lot more compared to if somebody pays, by yearly or quarterly. SubhanAllah. So keep that in mind. And this is actually where I wanted to show you guys. Let me just finish what I'm saying, and then I'll show you some of the restaurants and stalls that we have available over here. This one is natural juices, mashallah. All right, so so you have to pay. That's how the payments are. What else? There is so if you get an apartment, you rent an apartment, it's either going to be furnished or unfurnished, correct? Now when it's furnished, it's obvious what's included. You have appliances, you have AC, you have a fridge, stove, everything fully equipped, which is normal. Furnished apartments, that's what a furnished apartment is. But unfurnished, what is an unfurnished apartment over here in Saudi Arabia, Medina? An unfurnished apartment, my dear brothers and sisters, is a place, an apartment which literally has nothing inside of it. So you have to get the stove, you have to get the fridge, you have to get even the cabinets, the kitchen cabinets, the drawers. You have to get that as well. In some apartments, they might not even have the toilet, so you have to get the toilet as well. And this might be common wherever you're viewing this video from, because when I was in Cairo as well, this is what an unfurnished apartment was. But in Canada, where I'm from, if you get an unfurnished apartment, to the minimum is that it has a stove, it has a fridge, it has a toilet, it has cabinets. So that is a major difference, and that's something a person needs to take into consideration if they want to come to live, inshallah, in the blessed city of Medina, the city of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Another question: transportation. You have Uber, you have Careem. Careem is like the equivalent of Uber. It's spelled Careem, which is actually, and I prefer that honestly over Uber, and in this city, in the city of Medina, it's more readily available to drivers. It's cheaper as well, and I just had better experience with Careem. I had a good experience with Careem drivers. All right, so you can use Careem. You can also lease a car, finance a car. But once again, if you finance a car, you want to buy a car, finance a car, you have to have proper paperwork. So if someone staying illegally, they're not going to have the proper paperwork, and the car dealer is not going to let them lease or finance the car. They might even tell the police about them, and then they get deported or locked away or whatever it is. MashaAllah, this is beautiful right here, isn't it? Look at this. Allah Kareem, this is the first time I saw this. It has a different country the timings. Over here is Saudi Arabia, which is 4:35, which is accurate. Over here we have Britain. In Britain it's 1:30. In China, what time is it in China? 9:35 in the morning. America, it's 8:35. In the Emirates, not too much different from here, 5:33. In France, it's almost 2:30. In Egypt, what happened to you, Egypt? Misr, Al-Qura. Allah Kareem. I guess somebody broke the clock. MashaAllah. But I think that the clock is still working. Yeah, the time is actually still working, so it's 2:05 almost. MashaAllah, beautiful. Very nice, very nice. All right. So yeah, transportation, you can lease and finance a car if you have the proper paperwork. And the same thing goes to rental, or like you want to get an apartment, you want to rent an apartment. If you come and you don't have the proper paperwork, or you get the residency and then you can't renew it, maybe you lose your job, the company you can't get another company to sponsor you, the residency is going to expire, and then what's going to happen, everything's connected to your iqama, your residency, your bank, right, your home, your rental agreement. So all of those things are going to be affected. So there are a lot of issues that occur when a person doesn't do it properly. And I'm just mentioning that as a caution for anybody who's thinking about that, because I know there are people who do that. I don't recommend that, because if you have a family and something happens, it can be a big problem. All right, what other questions? Oh yeah, we're still talking about transportation. So there is a bus system, and it's really good in Ramadan. In Ramadan, the only way to travel, if you wanted to come to the Haram, I mean, it's not the only way. You can come, they have underground parking, but it gets busy really quick. But they have bus services from every part of the city that takes you straight to the mosque of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And you have no issues if you wanted to come pray Taraweeh and come have iftar, because the buses are allowed to enter through the checkpoints. But the smaller cars, the private cars, smaller vans, they won't let them through. They will not let them through. So there are a bus system. Okay, other than Ramadan, how is the bus system other than Ramadan? It is good depending on where you live. Like if you're living in a place where you have a bus stop right next to where you're living, it's awesome, perfect. Good depending on where you live. Like if you're living in a place where you have a bus stop right next to where you're living, it's awesome, perfect. Because the bus stops are not, they're not as common. They're not frequent. You won't find frequent bus stops. They're like major bus areas where you pick up the bus and then you go. So I had one friend, he was here, and where he was staying, there was a bus stop right beside where he was staying. So it was convenient, it was easy. But if he wasn't living there, he would have to take like maybe a taxi to the bus stop and then take the bus to wherever he wanted. But there is a transportation system available, and it depends on where you are, from my experience. And they also have local taxis. Local taxis are a lot cheaper. Local taxis are basically civilian drivers who just act as taxi cab drivers. They'll be driving on the street and they'll see somebody waving their hand and they'll pick them up. So you can also do that. It's another way to get around. And if you have a friend, just tell them to pick you up and take you around the city. Another option. Alright? MashaAllah. Tayyib. Alright guys, so I think I've answered the main questions. Let me think if there's anything else. If there's any other question that I haven't answered, let me know, inshallah. But right now I wanted to show you the actual, one of the things that I wanted to do. So I wanted to answer questions with you guys today, and I also wanted to show you some restaurants. So let's go back to where we started. And right now where we are is Shari' Salam, Salam Street. And this street right here, directly, straightforward, it takes you to the Mosque of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. It's one of the main streets. It's called Shari' Salam because, you know, it leads to like Bab al-Salam, the door of sending salam, where you send salam to the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. You can even actually see the green dome from here. Alright, so that's why it's called Shari' Salam, the street of Salam, or Salam Street. You try to get it. Yeah, there you can see the green dome. You can see the green dome and the green minaret over there. You see? So this takes you straight there. So those of you who wanted to come, who live in the northwest area of the precinct of the Prophet's Mosque, if you're near some of these hotels, this place is probably a good area to get breakfast, get lunch, get dinner, get coffee. You know, it's actually quite convenient. Alright, so I'll share also a link to where this area is. And the northwest area of the Prophet's Mosque Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is where you have the family area, the family section. So most time when people come with their families and they get hotels, they get it in the northwest area, also towards the north, because that's where you have the women's area and you have the family section where you can come with your families. So you come to door 316 as I showed you earlier. You walk straight. It's not that far at all. Like, how long did it take us? It took us maybe 5-7 minute walk, and I was walking slowly and I was talking, so you could probably get here faster. And it's under this overpass, right? You have right above us actually some more information about the city of Medina. Is how is the infrastructure and how it's built. So you have the center, you have the Mosque of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Alright, you have the Masjid of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and you have the first ring. Right, this is the first ring right above us. Actually, this here right here is the first ring. So you have the first ring, and this is the main street, the first street that is going around the Prophet's Mosque Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and it's quite congested. Like right now, you can hear all the horns, the cars, and because it's right after Asr, so there are a lot of cars coming in and out. Alright, so this is the first ring right above us, and then you have the second ring, which is further out, and then you have the third ring road. The third ring road, if you live near the third ring road, if you happen to get an apartment in the third ring, you're most likely not in the actual boundaries of the Mosque of the Prophet, so of the city of Medina. And we as Muslims, I believe, like me, one of my things is important to me was to be actually within the boundaries of Medina, between Jabal Uhud and between Jabal Ayr. So if you're in the third ring, you're probably further out. There are a lot more developments over there, newer apartments, right, more modern style. The closer you get to the Prophet's Mosque, you have older structures, older homes, apartments. Like this right here, the first ring road. To the right of us, you can see actually the type of buildings that they have. These are homes, and there are people that live here. So these homes are, hundreds of years old, and these areas have a lot of history. Actually, you can come and talk about the history of this place. That might be another video idea. Inshallah, we'll talk about the history. But you can see, once again, the structure, and it's very tight. Right, you can see the streets in front of us. Not much room for cars to pass by. The further you go out, you have wider roads. You have easier accessibility. So that's another thing to keep in mind. Alright, so that just came to my mind while I was talking about this area. So you have over here Lebanese food. You have Lebanese food. You have, to my left, you have Yemeni food. Also you have some dates and nuts, mukassirat, American food, burgers, I'm assuming. And you can see there are burgers. These are good prices, really good prices. Chicken burger for 15 real, beef burger. All of these stalls have good prices. Alright, so if your budget is an issue for you, come to these stores. It's convenient. You don't have to travel too far to get something to eat, and the prices are good. Alright, what else do they have over here? Marhaban bil alam, welcome world. Pakistani cuisine. Alright, they have Pakistani cuisine. He's on the other side. Let's go. I think more people come in the morning to the Pakistani food. They have the lentils, right? They have adas and things. Let's see what they have. See, Pakistani food: chicken, mutton, dal, omelets, eggs, salad, paratha. So they have a good breakfast option. If you live near, if you're in one of these hotels in this section, you want a good breakfast, come here. Pakistani food. And then for lunch, you can come get a burger, get pizza, get Yemeni food as well. What else do they have over here? Actually, there's nothing here. And this is I showed this already earlier, natural juices. I really need some fresh juice right now. I might actually get one. Assalamu alaikum. Kayf al-hal? Barakallahu feek. So they have avocado, pomegranate, strawberry. These are really good prices as well. MashaAllah. After the video, I'm gonna probably get one, inshallah. They have ice cream, Ajwatak, which is a famous company brand, and they have natural ice cream. Natural ice cream made from dates, the Ajwa dates, no sugar. So if you're taking care of your health and trying to avoid sugar, right, refined sugar, you can come here and get some good ice cream for yourself or maybe your kids. You can also get some dates, gifts to give away, inshallah, and more things over here. And this is how it is under the whole overpass. All right, now let's walk back to where we started, or not where we started, but we already went to that area down there. Let's go back and show those restaurants. And how many steps did I get in right now? I walked back and forth, walked in circles, just been talking. My throat's kind of getting a little dry. It's Friday. Oh yeah, it's Friday. So remember to send salawat on the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And if you're here on Friday, if you ever come to Friday, pray Jumu'ah, after Asr, between Asr and Maghrib, try to get into the old masjid. I've already made a video about the old masjid, how to get in and where to pray. You want to be within the actual boundaries, within the actual masjid that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam built. Right? And to be just there in that part of the mosque, that land where a lot of the hadiths and stories, incidents occurred, honestly, it's a great way to spend your Friday. MashaAllah. So we're coming back this around the second time, or maybe even a third time. Alright, now let's check out the restaurants over there. Bismillah. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. And these stalls or these restaurants, cafes, are on this section of the overpass, under this part. You don't have it all around. All right. So if you're thinking maybe I can, if I'm in the north or in the east, and I'm near near the first ring road, I can just go check under and they have restaurants. No, they don't. Maybe they might be working on it, but currently they don't. All right, so keep that in mind. Now, what do we have over here, my dear brothers and sisters? We have Italian food, we have pizza, we have sandwiches, mashallah, calzones, pasta, and also same thing, good prices, 25 riyals, 29 for pepperoni. Of course it's halal, right? Margarita. Those of you who are interested in like pizza, kids, we have kids, right? Kids are usually going to eat pizza. Bookshop, if you wanted to get some gifts, some books for families or friends. Turkish, I'm sure they have, what do they have? Coffee, they have probably kebabs. Let me check on the other side the menu to share with you guys. And mashallah, Turkish brother taking advantage of what he knows best. Okay, they don't have a menu, but I can see that they have skewers and shawarmas. Yeah, they have a shawarma over there. Mashallah. Alright, so shawarma spot, Turkish shawarma. And they probably have kebabs as well. On that side is Malaysian food. I'm not sure if it's open, I'll check. Uzbeki food. MashaAllah. Uzbeki food. I like Uzbeki food. Do they have the bread? So they have meat samosas, dumplings, meat pie, Uzbeki rice. That's probably the main thing, right? The Uzbek rice. And they have some tea and coffee. MashaAllah. They have another window on the other side. Barakallahu fiqh. Uzbeki, I love Uzbeki people, MashaAllah. They have the best bread I have tasted. The circle bread. You guys know what I'm talking about? Over here you can get some rugs as gifts. So you can get food and gifts. It's very convenient, one-stop shop for a lot of what you need. They have Saudi food over here. And they have rice, mandi, salad, yogurt, kunafa, and they have drinks. So it's pretty simple. But once again, it's a good price. 20 riyals for rice and chicken. I'm sure it feeds 2 people, honestly. I'm pretty sure it does. Now let's go on this side. We have Indian food. And the same thing, the main window is going to be on the other side. And they probably are going to specialize in breakfast. Oh, they have, samosas. They have, Assalamu alaikum. Barakallahu fiqh. That's nice. So they have rice, samosas. Alright, so there's no breakfast, but they have lunch. And the Malaysian stall that we saw earlier, but I mean, there's nobody here right now. Maybe they're going to come later on. So if you're from Malaysia and you want a taste of your own home-cooked food, MashaAllah, they have everything over here. I know my Malaysian friends would like this place, and I'm going to actually come back here. I like Malaysian food. Alright, so if any of you come here and taste this food over here, let me know what you guys think. And I'll let you guys know what I think as well when I come back, inshallah. Alright. Tayyib, barakallahu fikum. We're getting into like 30 minutes for the video. I'm trying to think if I've answered all your questions. I think I have. If I haven't, or something else pops into my mind, inshallah I will. MashaAllah. That was funny. The restaurant owner, he's making a TikTok. Allah Kareem. Tayyib. So yeah, my dear brothers and sisters, I hope you enjoyed this video. Like I said, you want to come here, all you got to do is go follow Sharat Salam and you walk straight. 5-minute walk, 7 minutes, between 7-minute walk. You exit through door 316. Alright, the gate at the back, and you walk straight. Easily accessible. Alright, and I don't think you'll get lost. Alright, and add to that, I'm going to, inshallah, put the location. Alright, barakallahu feekum. May Allah Ta'ala bless you and your families and protect you and your families from all harm in this life and the next. It's Friday. Take advantage, make a lot of dua for me, for the Muslims, for yourselves. And may Allah Ta'ala grant you all that you seek in the khair and relieve the Muslims of the difficulties all over the world. Barakallahu feekum. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.